All right. Now this is what it needs. Something to take the eye just a little bit off center. Logan, come on in.
Hi.
So you got the word, huh?
That you were trying to reach me? Yes.
You weren't at the lab.
No, I had to drop some samples off nearby here. And the service told me you called, so I thought I'd come by and see you.
Well, I'm glad you did. So, what do you think?
It's wonderful.
I kicked up the hemline here a little on the one side.
Uh-huh. I like it. It makes it look younger, more fun.
That's just what I thought. You know, you're really getting the hang of things around here, isn't you?
Sure is. Well, we aim to please.
Thank you, Fawn. I'd like Dad to see this first thing tomorrow, before the showing.
Okay,
All right?
no problem.
Thanks. So, how's the beautiful blonde?
I'm all right.
Just all right.
You sure seem to be in a good mood.
Oh, it's been a long time since I felt this good.
What happened?
Well, you know what happened? Dad's back. We're family again.
It means that much to you?
Well, yes. Wouldn't it mean that much to you if your dad was all set to marry someone else, divorce your mother, marry someone you didn't even know, and at the last minute backs off from this other woman? You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. Nobody likes to see their family torn apart by a divorce.
I'm sure that's true.
So, come here. Why don't we go celebrate?
Celebrate?
Yeah, I'm in the mood to just do something crazy, like take the afternoon off, sail to Catalina. We could have dinner at this great little inn I know. Beautiful place, incredible view. This used to be an old mansion overlooking Avalon. And maybe we'll even stay the night.
Ridge, that sounds wonderful. I wish I could go.
So what's stopping us?
Well, first I have to get back to work.
No, that's not good enough.
The most important thing is that I promised my mother I would be over there later. She's having kind of a rough time.
Oh. Is that what this sad face is all about?
There's some problems with my dad. Anyway, I really would love to have a rain check. She really needs me.
Of course, you know why I'm here.
Stephen Logan.
Yes, have you heard from him, what his decision is?
Not a word. Not since I put it to him with his transfer to Paris.
I can't believe that he hasn't let you know what his decision is.
Well, today is his deadline. I told him that I'd have to have an answer by the end of the working day, or he'd be out of a job.
What could possibly be holding him up?
Well, from what little you've told me, Stephanie, I imagine his wife. And you seem to think that she's the one that needs to be convinced.
Yes, but she's had more than enough time to reconsider everything.
Well, maybe I should rescind his firing and tell him that he has a job until he can consider his transfer.
No. Don't make any changes in this game plan, please. It's imperative to me that Stephen Logan and his wife leave Los Angeles now.
Well, Stephanie, I don't know what else I can do.
There isn't anything else you can do. I guess I'll just have to get actively involved.
Save it, Garrison. You're responsible for whatever litigation may or may not take place. So what's it gonna be? Do we go public with this or don't we? Does Kristen learn about your impending fatherhood or doesn't she?
Just what are you after, Logan? What's going on inside that devious little head of yours? the hell is all this about?
Well, as I told you before, the law requires that you make a reasonable contribution to your child's support.
All right, I suppose I should roll over and play dead while you all decide what's reasonable.
Clarke.
Hey, whether we decide this between ourselves or in a court of law is really up to you, Garrison, but you are responsible. And one way or another, you are going to pay. So, shall we look at the figures?
All right. All right. Can you mind telling me how you arrived at all this?
Not at all. This figure represents 1/5 of your estimated annual income after taxes.
1/5 for one child?
That's the usual for a man with your earning capacity.
You're really out to stick it to me, aren't you,
I can
Logan?
promise you something. I am not suggesting anything another attorney wouldn't do in my place.
I'll bet. What happens if I agree to this settlement?
The money goes into escrow, which for our purposes is basically the same as a trust.
Oh, sure, and once you have the money, what's to stop you and Margo from going to my wife and telling her about the kid?
I wouldn't do that.
The agreement has a confidentiality provision.
And what might that be?
Margo doesn't receive one payment from the escrow fund until the statute of limitations for filing a paternity suit has run out.
You're not answering my question.
Oh, Clarke, would you just calm down?
Well, tell your friend here to stop talking legalese.
What I'm trying to tell you is that you are protected. If Margo, or anyone speaking on her behalf, should tell your wife that the baby is yours, or even suggest it, the escrow will terminate.
And what if Margo tells someone else besides my wife?
The same thing holds.
Fine. And how does that help me when she already has the money?
That's what I'm saying. If that should happen, she agrees to return the money to you.
Clarke, despite what you might think, I am not out to crucify you. I only want what I'm entitled to. I didn't become pregnant by myself, or had you forgotten?
Oh, not much chance of that. Not with you and Buddy Boy here.
Hello, Beth.
Stephanie.
I hope I haven't come at a bad time.
No, come in.
I called the catering office, and they told me that you left early today.
Yes, I did.
Normally, I wouldn't come by unannounced, but this is important.
I'm not sure I understand.
It has to do with my husband, Eric. He wants to give a reception for buyers from the Orient. And naturally, he gave me absolutely no advance notice. So I'm desperate for your help. Can you do a dinner party for me for next week? 35 people?
I have to check my book.
Well, we can go over the details later. I'm glad to see you. I feel so remiss. I just haven't stayed in touch with your family. Of course, we're delighted that Brooke is living at the house. But I'm really remiss in keeping in touch with you.
We're all fine.
Brooke tells me that your husband has moved back.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I can only imagine the ordeal that you must have had raising all the children by yourself all those years. She says he's living at home and has an excellent job.
Stephen's been very lucky.
Is there something wrong? You're not your usual self.
No, I'm fine.
I have come at a bad time.
No, not at all. Really.
But there's something wrong.
It's just that my husband's been offered a promotion.
I would think that would be wonderful.
I wish it was that easy. It involves his moving. Frankly, I'm not sure I'm ready to make that move with him right now.
I would have thought that you would have been thrilled that he'd received a promotion, seeing as he's been in Los Angeles for such a short time.
I just wish that it didn't involve relocating.
Oh, you didn't say that. Where would you relocate to?
Paris.
Paris? But that's so exciting.
I suppose.
Well, I mean, I'd give anything to be in Paris. Why are you so hesitant?
For one thing, it's so far away.
But that's part of the allure. Eric and I spent a considerable amount of time in Paris when he was establishing Forrester International a few years ago. I think it was the most romantic time of our marriage. Paris in the fall. I envy you.
I'm also concerned about my children.
Oh, of course. But Brooke and Storm they're already well launched on their careers. And am I wrong? Aren't the two girls at the university?
As of this year, yes.
Then they can spend their holidays with you. Christmas in Paris? I can't think of anything more exciting for them. But isn't it time for you to have some time, too? The two of you to have time together, you and...
Stephen.
Stephen, I'm sorry, I forgot. For the two of you to have time together, to reestablish your marriage. I mean, he's been gone a long time. This would give you a chance to get to know one another again. Be a wonderful opportunity to get rid of all of those responsibilities you've had all these years. You probably wouldn't even have to work in the catering company anymore.
I suppose not.
Sometimes it's a great relief to throw off responsibilities and old ties. People are funny, you know, when it comes to change. Especially a change of this magnitude. First thing I want to do is say no, 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 no. But I think you might regret that in this case. Paris in the fall, with a man who obviously adores you. You're a very fortunate woman. I can't think of a more attractive offer. I believe you should think this through very, very carefully, this move.
Mrs. Forrester.
Hello, Brooke. Your mother has just been telling me this wonderful offer that your father's received. And I've been advising her about it.
I'm sure you'll find all our figures are accurate.
Okay, how did you arrive at this figure here right at the bottom?
Well, since your child is entitled to support until he or she reaches legal age, I took that yearly amount that we discussed earlier and multiplied it by 18.
That's over $150,000.
Right. But you'll also see here on the second page the current dollar value if you were to pay it up front in a lump sum. A considerable savings to you.
Always looking out for my best interest, aren't you, Logan?
We only want what's fair, Clarke.
Fair. You don't talk to me about what's fair. You're asking me to come up with $100,000.
And that's if you pay up front.
Forget it. There is no court that would order me to pay all that at once.
You're right. But we'd both come out ahead. You'd have your savings, and I'd have the security of knowing that my client has been paid in full. To tell you the truth, Garrison, I don't have much confidence in your willingness to hold up your end of a long-term contract. And I don't want to end up chasing you all over the country trying to collect.
Look, if I agree to this settlement, I'll pay it. I'm not one to go back on a promise.
Well, maybe I shouldn't comment on that.
I don't care what Margo's told you.
And you will never find out. But if you want to settle this out of court, you are going to agree to these terms. And that's one payment up front.
I bet you would love that, Logan. You get your client what she wants, and you get yourself a nice fat fee. And you don't even have to step a foot in the courtroom.
I hope you'll consider my advice.
You were advising my mother?
She'll tell you about it later. Is it all right if I call you about the dinner party?
Oh, fine.
Thank you, Beth. It was good to see you. And I'll see you at home later.
Of course. Why in the world would Stephanie Forrester come here?
She missed me at the office. She wanted to make some dinner plans.
What was all that about Dad?
I told her about your father's offer in Paris.
Why? Mom, why would you tell that woman anything?
Brooke, don't get upset. She was actually very helpful.
I'll bet she was.
The irony is that she'd come here at all, especially now. But she came as a friend. She was very interested in your father's plans. I mean, to tell you the truth, it was nice to speak to someone who'd actually spent time in Paris.
And she thinks you should go.
Yes. And a lot of what she said made sense. I'm lost here now, Brooke. Everywhere I look, I see reminders of Eric. Sometimes it hurts me so badly that I can hardly breathe. And then there's his wife, trying to help me and giving me advice. How do you think that makes me feel?
Mom, don't forget, she's the one that came between you and Eric all these years.
No, Brooke, she's his wife. She's entitled to be where she is. I was the interloper in that marriage.
That's not true.
It is true. Stephanie Forrester didn't break up my relationship with Eric. Eric broke it up himself. And how can I blame him for that? He's just found out he has a helpless daughter who needs him. I can't compete with that. I wouldn't even try. And on the other hand, I can't stay here and face the constant reminders. I'm just realizing how badly I need to get away. And Stephanie just made me more aware of it.
What did she say?
She made a very strong point of my taking this time for myself and looking at this as an opportunity to break old ties and to start a new life. Can you imagine? I'm sure that she wasn't aware of the significance of what she was saying. She also thought it might be a good time for your father and me to get to know each other again.
Are you ready for that, Mom?
No. But I desperately need a chance to put the events of these past few months in some kind of perspective. Maybe Paris would do that for me.
So you are thinking about going with Dad?
I don't know, Brooke. I can't make that decision right now. Maybe Paris would be the answer. It just may be that Stephanie is right.
I'm disappointed in you, Garrison.
Why's that?
Because I overestimated your intelligence. I thought you'd realize I'd like nothing better than to get you in a courtroom. A room packed with reporters, the whole Forrester family, your wife. I'd probably pay out of my own pocket for that privilege.
Is that some kind of threat?
Just know that if I didn't have such high regard for Ms. Lindley, I'd be chomping at the bit to expose you.
In particular to my wife, right, Logan?
Why don't you just leave Kristen out of this?
Oh, now you're the man of high moral character, aren't
Oh, Clarke, are we going to discuss a settlement, or are you just going to throw around insults all day?
you? I don't even know if I want to settle it. But even if I did, I don't have that kind of money.
Well, then we're wasting our time. I'll get the necessary paperwork together and we'll get in court as soon as possible.
Look, I didn't say I wouldn't or I couldn't come up with it. I just don't have it right now.
Look, don't play games with me, Garrison. If you need a reasonable amount of time to come up with a settlement, I'm sure Ms. Lindley will agree.
What would be reasonable?
2 weeks at the outside.
No more.
Don't push me, Margo.
Nobody's pushing you, Garrison. The ball's in your court. Hard or soft, however you want to play it. We can go either way.
What do you think?
God, how I'd like to get that guy in the courtroom. He really doesn't have the money, does he?
I don't think so. But he knows if this becomes public, he can kiss Kristen and his job at Forrester goodbye.
How you can love a guy like that, Margo, is beyond me.
There's a whole other side to him, Storm. I know that you don't see that now, but that's just because he's fighting for his life. To be recognized as a designer at Forrester Creations is the most important thing to him. Sometimes it consumes him. I mean, he's just a man. He can be so extraordinary. And that's the man I fell in love with. We connected in so many ways. And I want him back, no matter what the cost.